Welcome to my tutorial on the advanced cross. So today I hit a sub 20 single solve of 19.6 and my average of 5 has gone from about a 30-second average down to about a 24. So I'm a sub 25 average now, and that happened in about 3 days. And I couldn't help but to question myself of why that happened so fast. And so a lot of it has to do with the cross. I've gotten a lot faster at the cross, and I'm going to try to give you my 2 cents on how I accomplish this. So as we know, the cross is exactly what it sounds like, a cross on the bottom where the edge piece matches the 2 center pieces. And we know that in the beginner's method, they want us to put them all on top and then align them with the color and then put them on the bottom. And it's done like that because not everybody knows the color scheme. And by color scheme, I mean white's on the bottom and blue's in front of me, so I know that red is on the right. And now I know that because blue's on the bottom and orange is in front of me, that yellow is on the right. I know my color scheme, but not everybody does, especially beginners. So that's what they do, is they color match. What we're going to do today is we're going to understand how to put pieces in relation to each other, and this will help you with your color orientation as well. So let's give this a scramble. And I'm going to demonstrate exactly how you're probably going to start practicing because you only have 15 seconds of inspection time, and it is quite difficult to be able to get a scramble you've never seen and in 15 seconds figure out where your cross is, memorize the moves, align your cube the way you want, put your hands down, and then start. 15 seconds sounds like a lot of time, but I guarantee you it's not. So, what I'm going to talk about with putting pieces in relation to each other is we have nothing that's white on the bottom. We do have white edges, but nothing that's got the white side on the bottom. So we're going to make one, and here's an orange one. So let's just put this one in right away. Now I'm not going to align this with the orange side. I'm going to keep it where it is. And because I know my color orientation, I know that because white is on the bottom and orange is in front of me, that green is on the left. And it just so happens that I have a green piece here. So I can put that down now with the orange because they are where they're supposed to be in relation to each other. I hope that makes sense. So if you were to align these, you would see that they are now both in line. However, this blue is not, and neither is this. So let's put them back the way they were. Now let's take a look. The blue edge piece can come down in one move. However, you don't want it to be on the left of green because blue is opposite of green. You need it to be over here. So before we move this down, we need to move this green on the opposite of this color. So let's do that. Now, because it's on the opposite side, we can turn it down. And as we can see that because these are all on their opposites now, we can turn this red down with no problem. Not only because it's the only spot left, but because we can see that it is on its opposite. So now that they're all where they need to be in relation to each other, we can realign our cross. Let's go through another example. That one was pretty easy. Okay, I call this fixing one piece by one piece at a time. Let's take a look. We already have one in the bottom that's blue, so let's work on this one. What can we move down in one move? Well, we can move the green down in one move, but doing so kicks out our blue. We want that blue to stay. And so we know that green is opposite of blue. So we need to put this opposite of where the green is going to be when we move it in, which will be a 180-degree turn. So now we can move our green down. And I know that because white is on the bottom and green is in front of me, orange is on the right. And it just so happens, again, that the orange piece is there ready for us to put it down. Now, in doing so, I've located the red and white edge piece. So that needs to come down in one move as well, but we can't because that's where the orange needs to go. So we need to put the orange on the opposite of the red piece. So we're going to do that again by doing a 180-degree turn, and now we're going to put it in. And now we can align. So that is putting them in one piece at a time. And what you're doing is you're using a piece, you're finding your first piece, and that is defining where your colors are. You're no longer using the center pieces to define your sides. If I put my first piece in and it was blue, I'm calling this the blue side. So that would be red here, orange here, and green in the back. I'm no longer paying attention to these centers. That is very important when you're learning advanced F2L, is your centers do not come into play anymore. You may use them to see where the orientation of the entire cube is, but as far as placing your F2L, your cross pieces, you're using the very first one, and picking your first one can be very important because you have to look at where all your other ones are. You might think that might be the one to put in first, which defines your color scheme, but you might take a look around the cube and say, no, this one here works better for the rest of the pieces. And that can take a lot of practice. So let's see if we can get a more difficult one here. So what I've been doing those first two is putting them in one at a time. So now I'm going to put in 2. I'm not going to move until I found 2. All right. So I see I've got my orange that's in, and it's on its opposites. That's what I call that. I call this on their opposites. This one here is flipped. The red is out, and the blue is, I guess, floating, I would call it. So because this is here already, I'm going to insert the red because I'm going to use the one that's on the bottom. So the way I think about it is if I was to insert the red, I need the orange to be opposite of it. So if I do that and I make it the opposite, where did it move the other pieces? Well, it did move this green that we had here, and it moved it over here when we put the red in. So let's not do that right away because we're going to want to see where the other pieces go. The other pieces right here, the blue and the white. So we move this over here. No, I'm going to show you just the 2 pieces. I'm not going to go through the whole thing real quick. So I know that if I move this over and I put the red in, it's going to put this in line for the green if I move it up. So because this is in its proper center now, I can move these 2 back into alignment with their centers. So now when I move the green down, it's in relation to where it needs to be with these 2. However, you can see when I did that the blue and white was on top of that and it moved it down, which means that I would have to move this green opposite of where that is going to go. And that's just a lot of moves to do that. It's not a lot, but it would be a lot easier if I just moved this over first and then moved that down. And then I can put the blue in its spot afterwards. And it finishes my cross on the bottom. That is another goal. You really want to try to finish your cross on the bottom because it gives you time to look ahead for your F2L pairs. And then you can start pairing them up. So let's go through another one. So now that you've got the basics down on inserting 1 and 2, you probably are going to be able to get 1 or 2 in the time frame that you've got. So as you get better, you're going to be able to put in 3 in the 15 seconds inspection, and then finally you're going to be able to do the 4. Sometimes you'll get a really easy solve or for cross, and you'll be able to do it a lot faster. So like this one, for instance, seems relatively easy. I know that because the blue is on the bottom or on the front and white is on the bottom, then red is on the right. This red is in the wrong place. If I turn that down, it kicks out the blue. But I do know that if I kick the blue to the left, then red is on the right of it. And now, if I kick it back, then these are on the opposites. See, when I do it, I try to align things with their true colors or their opposites. That's when I first started. Now I can do it on any color, but it's a lot easier to see when things are on their opposites. And so now I can see that this one is on its opposite as well, so I can turn that one down. And if I want this one to be on its opposite, I can turn it away and then turn it up. Turn this back and turn it down. Now I can realign, and I've got my cross finished on the bottom, and already I spot an F2L pair here. And I've already spotted the other three, so you're going to get better and better at it. You're probably going to get a little bit discouraged. You're probably going to mess up a bit. And a lot of people, including myself, are going to think that when you're starting to learn advanced cross stuff, that you're going to become better at the cross really fast. And you might, but the chances are it's going to take a while, because there is no 100%, it's get faster technique. It's all practice. You're going to practice and practice your face off until your hands are sore or somebody's screaming at you to come for dinner. There is only one thing you can do. Like I'm saying, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but it's all practice. The more that you practice, the more that you see your case. Like you see, okay, I understand how to put that in, and I understand how to put this in, and when I do that, it's going to move this over here. Now you got to think about these things at first, and you really got to plan it out in your head. But when you get better at it, you can see things and you don't have to think about it anymore. And the only way that's going to happen is with repetition, right? It's like tying your shoes. You don't have to think about that anymore, right? But when you did, it took a long time to learn. So I think that's my tutorial on it. Now, I did the best job that I could. If I didn't explain things better, then let me know what it was, and I will try to get a response video up to this one to try to answer some of these questions. I personally think that I answered the questions. I did the video to the best of my ability right now. Like I said, I'm not like a super speed cuber or anything. So I do hope that this video helped you out. And like I said, just let me know if I went too fast or anything like that, and I will make another one. Thanks.